be all over the internet. You find it. That way, when I get recorded, things can be done. And tell me
So the next scripture is Galatians 5, and let me see where I want to. So I'm starting at verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk ye in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Now hold this. I'm gonna.
right.
1 second.
For the Spirit,
I'm trying to get this one scripture. Take a moment for me to get it. Bear with me for a minute. Just had it, but I just kind of drew it kind of left me. I should have just got it when I thought it, but I was, you be trying to line the scriptures up to bring them out the way you want to bring them out.
With a light skin. Oh, hey, what, man? Hey, wait a minute. We can pull that one off.
It's a man over here just talking. It's a trip.
Right, because someone's going to have to say something. That's a wickedness.
Maybe it'll come back to me. I'll have to come back to it because I can't quite remember exactly where it's at. Yeah, it's gonna have to come back to me. The point I'm trying to roughly paraphrase it, it talks about we have to walk worthy of the vocational calling. And it's skipping my mind exactly where it's at. I hate when I can't quite remember where a scripture is that will go perfect with what. But it's basically. Nope, that's not it. I thought that was it. Look, one more place. If it's not here, if I can't find it, then I'll just have to wait. And Lord willing, through the Spirit, it comes back to me. Yeah, I'll just have to wait so it come back to me. But picking back up in Galatians 5 and 16. It says, This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. And how do you walk in the Spirit? By implementing the teachings of the Scriptures. Like I got a quick precept. It's Revelations 1 and 3. It says, Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So why does it say, blessed is he that readeth? When you read, you actually know what the scriptures say. So when you find yourself in different predicaments or different situations, that the scriptures will come to your mind, and then you'll know how to act on it. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. If you're somewhere and you see this chick, she might be sitting over there with her dude, like kind of leaning up against her dude. Her dude step up and leave. He go to the bathroom or something, and then she start cutting her eyes and start looking at you, and then she start talking to you. You know, if blessed is he that readeth. You know, that's trouble. That's trouble. That leads to adultery. You know she got a man, but yet Satan hopped on her to try to flirt with you. You supposed to stand up, walk, and go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Don't even allow that situation to even transpire. You know what I'm saying? You know ain't nothing but wickedness. I mean, if you can sit there and deal with it if you want to, or just shut her down or whatever, but just ignore her. But if those who don't know that, that's commit adultery, what they gonna do? They gonna be ready for that. They gonna jump on that. You know, that's basically what they gonna do, because you don't know. You put in the situations and you're supposed to handle scripture. Like for instance, people love to, if they see, you know, they got this whole thing. No, I'm good. I got a drink. I'm good. Keep your stuff. No worries. Thanks for the hospitality, but I'm good.
All right.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna go on to just for edification. People love this world star thing, right? They see a fight break out across the street or some commotion going on. They love to just run over there and start filming, right? But I'm going to read a quick precept. This is Proverbs 6 and 17. Number 6 and 16. 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, and feet that are swift in running to mischief. And that's the point. If you see somebody getting into it, they start fighting, you ain't supposed to run over there and start filming. That's you having feet quick to run to mischief. But if you don't know that the scriptures say that, then you don't know that you shouldn't do that. And you go and do it. So with that being said, you in a situation where when you know what the scriptures say, then you can maneuver and walk, you know what I'm saying, your everyday life, fulfilling the will of the Most High, which is us to follow what the scriptures say, and not to go into doing the things that we shouldn't be doing because you don't know. That means you're still in the world. If you're doing things that you don't know that you shouldn't be doing, then you're still part of the world. And you need to basically, you know what I'm saying, get yourself grounded, rooted and grounded in this truth, in the scriptures, and have a foundation. So when you put yourself in these positions, you can know how you can make the right decisions to where you won't be guilty of committing different atrocities or committing different iniquities that the scriptures say not to do. So back in Galatians, verse 17 says, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that ye would. So your spirit is always warring against the flesh. You know what I'm saying? The demons are always jumping on you, trying to get you to do fleshly things, trying to get you to follow on the left-hand side. But your spirit, when you built up in the truth, the Most High has you fighting those things. You constantly fighting it, even if it's just thoughts. It may not even be physical. You may not even do. It's just be thoughts. It could just be thoughts. It could just be something you said. The scripture said, life and death comes from the power of the tongue. It's supposed to be something that you said. You know, you got to watch what you say, what you think, what you actually do. You know. Verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variances, emulations, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies. These are all things that people of the world constantly indulge in. This is a daily thing that people in the world actually are involved in. Envying, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like of which I tell you before, as I have also told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So let's examine that. It's not talking about you ain't gonna make it you're not gonna make it to the kingdom if you're an Israelite. If you're an Israelite, you're gonna take part in the kingdom. You have an inheritance, because being of the lineage of the line of the nation of Israel, you are of one of the seeds of the 12 tribes. You're an Israelite. You taking part of the kingdom once this goes down. Once this man goes down, the society goes down, and Yahweh Shai brings forth the kingdom of heaven for the Israelites, you'll take part in that. But this is talking about on this side. Because in order for the physical kingdom to get here, we're going through the spiritual kingdom. And the spiritual kingdom is this knowledge, this truth, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This faith that you're given, this walk that you're in, giving you the name. So you can have a defense in the society against spiritual wickedness that dwells in high places. So you can be armor. You can have that spiritual armor. It speaks about it in Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. You're not gonna have that. These are things that you're not gonna be able to have if you're abiding in the world, taking part in all those wicked iniquities that I just read. This is Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, the so-called white man. Stand against the wiles of the so-called white man. It's all the wickedness that he put in front of you, Jakes, that you go out and take part in. You know, homosexuality, bestiality, eating unclean foods, not cleaning yourself. I mean, when I say cleaning yourself, I'm talking about purifications and things like that. You got women out here that don't care if they on their menstruals. They just sleeping with dudes, and dudes will pop her, lay down the towel and pop her anyway. Uncleanness, things like that. There's law, statutes, and commandments that we're supposed to follow, that the Most High put in place, and then Esau, the devil, the so-called white man, he's put in place for ways for you to go against what the scriptures say, and for you to do things that are of the world that he put in front of you. You know what I mean? Like for instance, you order some food, and then you order a salad or whatever you order, and then you find out, because they put pork in everything. Esau puts pork in everything. That's like Esau put some pork in something before he put salt and pepper in it. You know, like pork is the magic ingredient. Just put that in there. Sprinkle the pork in there, whether it's bacon bits or whatever. And you see that, and you see it on your plate, you're supposed to send that back. Like, no, I don't eat that. It's like, you didn't even know that they put that. Like, why the hell is that on there? You know, whatever the meal you have, just throw the bacon on there, right? But if you just say, I don't want to send it back, I'm gonna just eat it, then you living in the world. That's something that Esau put in front of you, that you took partake in it. So you really living in the world. But if you stand for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and it's truth, it's like, man, Jay crazy. But you won't eat that. You won't get out there and take part in none of that. So, like I was saying, the wiles of the devil are things that he put forth on you to make you fall. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness and of the world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Let me read that part again. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So this ain't something that's this is physically that you're dealing with, that's gonna be on a daily basis, that you gotta physically fight something. It may end up coming down to that, but at the point now, it's something spiritual you fighting. You fighting Esau and the so-called white man. You fighting demonic spirits. You fighting on the left-hand side, things that a war that you don't even see, that's not even taking place in front of everybody. It's taking place behind the scenes spiritually, and that's what you're fighting against. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, which is Esau. He's the one that got his witches and warlocks and they praying against, the people in society, putting spells on music records and things like that. He's the one that's making sure that all wickedness is flourishing in this society. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take ye unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. is this truth, man. Holding on to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that was awarded to you by the Most High. Because this is the only way that you get to win. This is the only way that you're able to have a chance to win. This is what we need to do. We need to be about this. This is what we need to be about. This walk, this truth. Pray to the Most High, fast as much as you can. Fasting is something I need to do a lot more. I was at one point fasting every week, but you know, times you give yourself different reasons. Or I'm a fasting man. We just got to do it. You know, just got to do it. So the next point I want to scripture I want to go into. Actually, I think I'm back in. Galatians, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Yahushai's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another. So you're going to take on the right principles of the scriptures and talking about dealing with, those who are in the faith. That's what you're going to show. These are characteristics that you're going to show if you're walking in the Spirit. You're going to have that joy, that peaceful, long suffering, that gentleness towards your brother, towards others, in good faith. So the next scripture I'm going to get into, we're going to change it up a little bit and get into the punishments and things that are coming, in this world, of the different judgments. And then we're going to go into why. So first scripture I'm going to go into is Hosea 4:1. It says, "Hear the words of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord had a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood," because that's what's flourishing and that's what's being known. That's the things that are going on in the earth. Stealing, committing adultery, swearing and lying. All these things are on a daily basis. On a daily basis, in full rotation, from an individual person. Any person you come up to, they liable to lie to you. They liable to steal from you. They're liable to try to commit adultery against you if your woman's with you. These are different things. They may liable to kill you. These are things that the people in the world, in the flesh, this is what goes on. And that's why the Most High has a controversy there, because there ain't no righteousness going on. The scriptures tell you, if there was righteousness going on, all these other stuff wouldn't be happening, and the Most High wouldn't have this controversy. But he have a controversy because this place got to go down, and it will go down. And then in the next, in the kingdom, he won't have a controversy. He'll have nothing but love, because there'll be nothing but righteousness going on. So next scripture I want to jump into. Skip it. Hold on. Go back.
Shorty waiting like that. He's like, oh. He said, let's get over that door. Not even $100.
He's just crazy. He's out here crazy.
Like, yeah, right? Wait to go inside. So he seemed like he would.
Saliva. Let me get.
Maybe that was something.
I'm gonna hold that. Come back to that. So this is Joel. I'm gonna start. I want to touch on Joel, the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter. So actually, I'm gonna come back to the 2nd and start with the 3rd. it says Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for many people and for my heritage Israel, whom they scattered among the nations and parted their land." So, and this is going to take place in the Middle East. All the nations going to come down there because it's going to be war in that land. Because the people inhabiting that land ain't supposed to be inhabiting that land. Verse 3, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, and they that might drink. And yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?" Because this is what's going to happen. It's going to be a payback. It's going to be a recompense in that land, because that land, we were scattered. That's our land. We talking about the Holy Land. We're talking about the land of Israel. There's gutter rats that are inhabiting that land, and they're not supposed to be in that land. And they're fighting with the Palestinians or the Palestinians. There's nothing but war going on in that land, and neither one of them belong in that land. Like the scripture said, it's like it, that we were scattered. It said the real people of that land has been scattered, and then you have people that's in that land fighting over that land that don't belong to neither one of them. So the Most High is going to speedily render a recompense, which is payback for all those gutter rats that's in that land. "Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border," which is our homeland. Actually, before that, Esau came and ran us out of our homeland into the western shores, the west coast of Africa. "Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war." This coming to the point. Prepare war. "Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of the war draw near. Let them come up. Beat their plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And that's these other nations. These other nations are going to be strong because the Most High is giving them the technology to build nuclear weapons, ICBM missiles. So they're going to have the same firepower as the so-called white man have. And then this is how you know that people say, those Jews in the land of Israel, the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the Israelites. No, when you go back and you read in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, and Malachi, I think it's Malachi the 5th chapter or the 4th chapter, it tells you that when the Most High brings back the children of Israel to that land, and there'll be no more war. And it tells you, matter of fact, that, let me get it right quick. It's like it wasn't Malachi, it's Micah. Let me get Micah right quick. My pages always get sticky. This is moist. It's been raining today. over here just going in with itself. All right, so this is Micah 4:1. It says, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow to it, because it's going to be a righteous government, a righteous setup. And many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountains of the Lord, and to the house of the Most High of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways." Because the other nations, you're not gonna get that law, the law, statute, commandments in your inner parts. You're not gonna get that heart of flesh. You're gonna continue to have a stony heart, which you're gonna have to learn the righteous ways of the Most High. You're gonna have to follow the scriptures. So you're gonna have to learn these. You're gonna have to abide by what the scriptures say, because this righteousness is gonna dwell in all existence. And many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountains of the Lord, and to the house of the Most High of Jacob. And he shall teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations far off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares. So in Joel, it was saying you're going to turn your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, right? It tells you you're going to basically take up in the time of Joel, at the end of when this takes place, the day of the Lord's wrath, when the valley of Jehoshaphat comes to pass, you're going to take up instruments of war, right? But after that, it's telling you that, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. So it's the opposite. You're going to be taking up instruments to build, instruments to plow the ground, to till the ground, and to build up our kingdom, because you're going to be in a 1,000-year slavery sentence where you're going to make sure that our kingdom is built up properly. It's going to be the most beautiful thing ever. You're going to be paving our streets with gold. We're gonna have the best, and the Most High is gonna allow it to flourish. But you're gonna be put to work. Nations shall not lift up a sword against nations, neither shall they learn war anymore. And that's how you know that those aren't the real children of the Most High that's in the land of Israel right now. Because there's nothing but war going on. And if they were the real children of Israel, the real children of the Most High, there wouldn't be no war taking place there. But that's taking place because the real Israelites are scattered across the four corners, and we're not in that land. So back in Joel. So back to you getting these instruments of war, but when the kingdom comes, you're gonna have them instruments of building. It says, "Proclaim you amongst the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of the war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into spears, and your pruning hooks beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about thither, because thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathens be wakened and come up in the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I sit and to judge all the heathens round about, because it's going to be a judgment, because there's going to be so many dead bodies out there. They're going to be continuous, because they're going to go to war, and the Most High going to put a spirit on them to make sure that they all being put to death. And simultaneously, missiles going to be shot here in the land of America too. Verse 14. Actually, verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near, in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And that's already taking place. The Most High, it's going to come a time where there's going to be a famine of the word. People ain't going to be able to get no knowledge, wisdom, you know. And these physical things are going to take place. Verse 16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Wait a minute. So if the Most High was for all other nations, then wouldn't he would have placed them in that? It was a perfect situation, because I did in my last couple videos, I was going into how salvation, the kingdom, the promises, the glory, all that's for the nation of Israel and no other nations. If it was opened up to other nations, like the Christians try to say, then there's plenty of scriptures that the Most High could have put the other nations right in there, but he only had put Israel in there, and this is one of them. Read that part again. It says, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. That's the point where he could have added a whole other nation or the other nations in there. But if you go back up, he tell you that he's going to punish these heathens. I don't need nothing, man. Listen.
No. I was going to have you write the number on that and just sit it over there later for me. I got to go over here.
All right. All right, go ahead. All right.
That's all, but just a little note.
All right, go ahead.
Leave a pen to you. I like the number.
So shall ye know that I am the Lord, your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Zion be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters in the fountains. And this is the time where you're going to be changing out those instruments of wars for instruments of building, instruments of tools, so you can build up our nation. It says, so shall, and I'm going to start back from verse 18. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and the fountains shall come forth of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation. Egypt is talking about America. America is the modern day Egypt. It says, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Israel, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah